So this video has just started, and a select few may recognize my voice from the Shannon Sunday Drama Is Actually Dumb video. Yeah, don't worry, my opinions have changed, because before I didn't take into account the fact that I would actually need a better understanding of the situation to either confirm my suspicions or make a more informed statement based on what I could understand. You've actually no reason not to be mad at me, don't worry, I am too, but you have to also understand that my knowledge was limited at the time. I watched maybe 2 videos and wanted to think that everyone was wrong and that they were just stripping one of my favorite creators of a platform just because he was popular. That's all I wanted to think, so much so that I hadn't thought clearly and concisely about the situation. I really like, and still like, Shannon's content, so it was devastating for me to hear that people were calling him a pedo and a groomer, so I made a badly constructed video on it, talking about my feelings on the matter. This is probably what it could have been chalked up to if I didn't sound so self-righteous and aggressive in my points. Especially at the end of the video. Something I'll be cringing at for the rest of my life. If I just sounded like I was timidly putting something on the table as an option for the information that I'd been given in the situation so far, I feel like people wouldn't have reacted so strongly. Though I am thankful, and a bit embarrassed, that 2 of those people decided to actually hear me out on the matter. Redknight777 and Zoey, 2 people who I called out on the matter, were confrontational at first in their comments, but I can see why. The information that they were about to give me were something they realized that I wasn't aware of, that in the second video that I made explaining my claims, they realized my intention was not to invalidate them, nor anyone else in the situation, but to debunk what I thought was something that could have been solved privately, and that nothing was particularly wrong with. They saw that I was just as naive as I was making everyone else out to be, and when they gave me the information that I'm about to present now, I just stopped functioning, as a whole. The situation was honestly so embarrassing for me because I realized the initial gravity of the situation. However many people that knew what I didn't know, who saw the video, saw me being a dingus and calling everyone out for not having an in-depth knowledge, when I was the only one who didn't have an in-depth knowledge and understanding of the whole situation. They sat there and watched me invalidate everyone that was a part of the situation and call them dumb and say that they owed a huge pedo a huge apology. And that's where I realized I went wrong. Zoey and Redknight were the most respectful in the Discord call we had. They let me know that despite their comments on the first video, that they didn't have any ill will towards me because again, I didn't know as much as the situation as I thought. I was just going off the screenshots that were given. But it was hard for me to be easy on myself when I'd realized how much of a pedo-defending bigot I probably looked like. No matter how much I calmly explained how I felt in the next video, the first had more views, so that was pretty much all people saw. The small corner of the internet that saw that was not as forgiving as the 2 that decided to talk to me. And I realized that when it hit me. But as humiliated as I kind of feel, I realize that every time I fuck up like this, something new comes of it. Now I have just as much evidence to actually solidify these allegations and provide the screenshots that I felt were missing. I get to help with this situation alongside the people that informed me I was looking at it all wrong. But trust me, I definitely learned to look further into situations from now on instead of being ballsy and throwing accusations around like I'm right. I know now to be silent until I have enough evidence compiled to come to an informed decision, make an informed statement, and not embarrass myself in the long run. So without further ado, here's the information I'd been given. Okay, so here's the deal. If you're not exactly up to date on the drama, or at least don't know what happened, a Friday Night Funkin' YouTuber by the name of Shannon Sunday has been accused of the following: having an inappropriate relationship with a minor, grooming said minor and others, being a pedophile, and predatory behavior, which, as you will see in the evidence that I'm going to present to you, is sadly true. In the Discord call with Zoey, they'd confirmed most of this, being one of the key witnesses of this behavior. They mentioned that not having the screenshots was the result of those particular interactions being part of a private Discord server, which, if I recall correctly, they mentioned leaving. I take their word for it now, not only because they mentioned leaving, but also because they confirmed that they didn't know a Google Doc was going to be made. They didn't know these allegations were going to make it out of just that private server. I'd be lying if I said I had screenshots of every bizarre situation just laying around in my gallery. Though I am glad that both Zoey and Redknight had some screenshots compiled that at least explain the predatory allegations like I'd been hoping for. The screenshots that I'll be showing has Shannon under a different alias, which pertains to the fact that both Zoey and Redknight had informed me that part of the reasons why some of the evidence had trouble getting out was because Shannon was trying really hard to hide things, including his identity. This is his other account. As you can see, he goes by Max or Maxine in this screenshot. It's easy to figure out because in his status he says happy birthday, minor's name. I have reason to believe that this is more recent, being the fact that Zoey has informed me of the minor's age, which is now 14 and not 13. So Shannon's status probably had been changed to this sometime after the recent videos had been made saying the minor's age was 13 at the time. So keep this in mind with the screenshot I'm showing here. Is it creepy to watch someone sleeping? Depends on if the person you're watching consents. Well, there's no problem then. I'm currently watching someone sleeping with my consent. In the voice chat, I mean. Who are you watching? Minor name? Secret. Yeah, I definitely remember the sleeping with minors in Discord calls, but if I knew what it is to this extent specifically, I definitely wouldn't have come to Shannon's defense so quickly. Zoey informed me that while in a private Discord server, after everyone would leave the voice chat, Shannon specifically would stay there for hours just waiting for the minor to arrive. They'd told me themselves that he would do literally nothing until the minor would join the voice chat. But the most shocking aspect of it was when Zoey told me that they would spend hours in the voice chat together. 6 in their words. And there's not a doubt in my mind that most of this was probably Shannon watching them sleep. The way this was spoken about makes this seem like a daily occurrence. Like they would schedule a time and wait until they could be in a call together. Wait for everyone to leave first and then engage with each other. And that just gives me more of a push to make this inference about the relationship altogether. Grooming is essentially brainwashing. It's convincing a child to stay in an inappropriate relationship with you in secrecy. Going out of your way to hide a possibly inappropriate relationship is a dead giveaway that who you're seeing is not someone you should be seeing. This is what connects to another thing Zoey told me. Shannon and this minor would go out of their way to conceal their ages, and for obvious reasons. The age gap in question would be something noteworthy, something that would raise brows in response. It's clear that relationships like this would involve some kind of disapproval, especially if they were sharing things like this. What I'm showing you now is a drawing of the minor's OC giving Shannon a blowjob. Censored the icky parts for convenience, but you get my point. These two were most definitely sexual in their relationship. And that is especially clear to me now, considering that the minor said this in regards to some other sexual content they'd been making.
I animated something sus. I'm crying. And Shannon added sound effects. Currently suffering.
Shannon added sound effects. So that definitely debunks my suspicions regarding how prominent their sexual relationship was. Prior to this knowledge, I was under the presumption that Shannon was just being flirtatious with them and they didn't return any kind of affections. But this knowledge is especially enlightening now that I know that both parties were partaking in these activities for at least a decent amount of time. And before you ask, this isn't something meant to even the scale. This only puts Shannon even more at fault, because this means that he had the minor wrapped even more around his finger than some people probably thought, which puts him even more at fault. The fact that a minor was participating in these actions with an adult party 5 years older than them that had no qualms with the situation whatsoever is devastating. The fact that he was just as enticed, that he even seemingly had suspicions with the question concerning him watching the minor sleep, but then brushed it off not that soon after, is really suspicious all around. Zoey and Redknight even mentioned that they were trying to help the minor break up with Shannon because they, at first, were not as engaged as they looked to be in those screenshots. They wanted to leave because they realized that the relationship was unhealthy and were going to act on that suspicion. But as you can see, it never really happened. Not officially, if I recall. That makes the situation even more sickening. It was grooming at its finest. The absolute most cut and dry evidence of predatory behavior. The minor was going to cut ties with him, but it never happened because they were, metaphorically, brainwashed into staying. Shannon was just as enticed with this relationship as the minor looked to be. And I think this is why people other than the parties involved didn't have much to show. Shannon keeps hiding things. I wouldn't have seen how awful the situation was had Redknight and Zoey not showed me. I still would have been demanding people to apologize to him for what I thought were false allegations. If anything, I should have been just as disappointed that this was swept under the rug. Redknight told me himself that one of the reasons he got involved was because Shannon became involved with one of his close friends that was also a minor. Now, allegedly, Shannon was trying to get NSFW art of this minor's OC. However, that's an allegation that has yet to be proven, unfortunately. But it wouldn't surprise me, considering the fact that he also exposed other minors to NSFW art. In conclusion, I'm glad that I made a bad video, because that meant that I was going to be given insight to put out there for you guys to see. The grooming in this situation was very much there. The implications were given, but I didn't even so much as understand it until I started writing this script. Shannon Sunday is no doubt a predator and a groomer. So much so that in this situation, if individuals like me, who were uninformed, were not provided information like this, it would have gone unchecked. And I don't want to act like one of the only people on Earth who have ever discovered this information, because I'm not. There are tons and tons of people out there that have way more information than I do, and have a way bigger stance on the matter than even me. And yeah, I know this now. He doesn't deserve a platform. I enjoy, and still enjoy, his content. I think he's very talented when it comes to being an artist, but he's not as innocent as I painted him out to be before. He used his platform, and the power that came with it, to silence people and run away from his accusations, and sweep them under the rug further than they should have been. And because of this, I was ignorant. But I'm at least glad that I was made aware of this. Thank you, and goodbye.